Can the Arizona Cardinals do the unthinkable and win a fourth straight game against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, Johnny Venerable?
What's going on with Vegas? Cardinals were favored, now they're not. Find out more. PHNX Cardinals Football Friday game preview show starts now. There's some boys in this house. PHNX Cardinals live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K on a Football Friday, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. This fine show, number one Arizona Cardinal podcast, presented by our friends at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer. Find out why, whatever the moment. It is never ordinary with Bet365. The boys are back. I'm Johnny Venerable. Brack in studio. Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire behind the mic. Craig Morgan, PHNX Cardinals beat reporter, right around the corner here. We're feeling good. Cardinals looking for their fourth straight dub. Will they get it, Brack? We'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, vibes, though, at an all-time high on this podcast. I was out getting a little lunch. Little fuel for this show. And I saw a friend of the program, our guy Merv, was out there at Chipotle out by the Cardinals team facility. Got to say what's up to our guy Merv, always in the chat. Give yourself a like for that. And also last week, I forgot to mention this. I met a viewer of the show. Nick loves what we're doing while I was grabbing some lunch. It's nice to see everybody around town, whether it's like East Valley, West Valley, Central. People love the PHNX Cardinals. They love the Johnny V.
Well, that's cute. I appreciate that. Merv strikes me as somebody, just real quick off topic, that films Chipotle employees not giving him enough food while he orders his Chipotle bowl. So I hope that's what he was
must have thought I had a camera out because they loaded me up. I mean, I was almost taken back by how much protein I got on my bowl.
Well, don't short my man Brack on his protein. Don't short us on likes. Drop us some likes here on a Football Friday. I felt really good about this game, and then I've listened to an umpteenth number of Vegas insider gambling podcasts. Everybody and their mom are on the Jets this week. It is crazy how this has shifted. The Jets, who are coached by a junior high PE teacher, they beat the Houston Texans 10 days ago, and let's anoint them. Cardinals were at one point favored by 2 points. Now they're underdogs with our sweet, sweet princes and princesses at Bet365. And like I keep trying to figure this out, Bo. Like Cardinals going into this game relatively healthy. It's not like Kyler Murray's banged up.
Yeah, they are relatively healthy, right? I mean, they could even get healthier just depending on if they activate Jonah Williams tomorrow or not, and he returns to his right tackle spot. But other than that, there aren't any glaring players out for this upcoming game. And the Jets win a game at home on Thursday Night Football, which is usually kind of like scrap for the visiting team on a short week. It's tough, and the Texans were just injury depleted, and they're able to, they squeaked that one out. What was it, 21-13? They rack up 8 sacks. Sure, they have the drop at the goal line by Corley, the rookie player, but that was a head scratcher from the Sharks or the Sharps going into that game between us and Damon, Dawg. That was a game we were monitoring for 2 weeks. The Jets were favored in that. Like Vegas likes the Jets. They like their roster, but outside of that, they have nothing go. They have talent on their roster. They don't have it from a coaching continuity standpoint. They don't have it from a consistency standpoint. They're a mess. They're an undisciplined team, and they really just have to catch lightning in a bottle from here on forward each and every week to figure it out, to win and keep kind of in the playoff contention. But they're 3-6. They're a bad football team.
They're real bad. They're 1-4 on the road. I was on a Jets hit earlier this week or earlier today with New York affiliate. And basically, I was going through my Jets homework ahead of it. The Jets season high in points scored is 24 points. Like, they haven't scored. How about this? They haven't scored more than 21 since week 3. Like, they're awful offensively. Like, we talk about a breakout game for Aaron Rodgers 10 days ago. I mean, they scored 21 points. Houston's defense did a nice job. Houston's offense had no players. They had no receivers in that game. Joe Mixon, by the way, we're going to talk about this, ran wild on them. I remember that was Halloween night, if you guys can think about that, a little over a week ago, 8 days ago. And Houston was in control of that game. Like, I understand people feel like, well, Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson and Davante Adams and Breece Hall, that's enough. Like, they're going to go on a run with that. And it's like, this feels so like NBA trade-esque, where it's like, I mean, we saw it. Where did we see it last year? In Phoenix, with a certain head coach that's no longer here. Where it's like, let's put together Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, and then we're just going to roll those guys out there, and we're going to make it to the NBA Finals. That's what the Jets feel like. Except that's not how football works, and certainly not how the NBA works. 3-6 on the year, 1-4 on the road. Their only road dub, and we've chronicalized it here on the show. They had to rally to beat the Texans at Tennessee in week 2. I mean, it's just Vegas is buying into what the team is supposed to be rather than who they've been.
They lost Jacoby Brissett. Like, the quarterbacks that they've played this season, and they're 3-6. Yeah. I mean, that's embarrassing. If the Cardinals have played this lineup of quarterbacks, they would be way better than 5-4.
No doubt.
They got Purdy week 1. Whatever you feel about that, that's fine. Then they take on Will Levis. Then they take on Jacoby Brissett, Bo Nix, Sam Darnold, who they lost to, Josh Allen, good, Justin Fields, they beat him, and then they lose to him. They got crushed by him. They get crushed, or they lose to Brissett and Drake May. And then they squeak one out against, struggling CJ Stroud. Like, there's 2 good quarterbacks in that group, arguably 3.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I saw people pick apart the Cardinals' wins recently. And first, it makes me physically ill because, like, I don't care how the Cardinals are winning. They're beating good teams. They're beating viable teams and viable. They've beaten Caleb Williams, who, up and down, but they beat Tua, who's competent, and they beat Justin Herbert. I mean,
they didn't beat Skylar Thompson.
They're beating starting quarterbacks. They're not beating backup.
They beat Tua.
I love a backup. Give us a backup game. When do we get that? We haven't gotten that all year. We thought we were getting Skylar Thompson. Remember that? So it's frustrating. People want to point to the Charger game. The Cardinals, got lucky with some turnovers. The safety against Tua and company in Miami last week against Caleb Williams. That game wasn't competitive. I think people just can't wrap their arms around this Cardinal team maybe peaking at the right time in lieu of the second half of this year. This team started 2-4, and we're very much still figuring some things out. And why they are not a finished product, especially offensively, I don't know how you can look at what Nick Rallis has done the last 2 home games with this defense and not say, like, we expect the Cardinals to be good again defensively this week. Like, the Cardinals are just going to give up like 40 points to the Jets. That's a joke. Right. Of course not. They're going to be good again.
Yeah, there's no like hot tub time machine that Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams can jump into, and then it's 2021 again. It's like they are pretty far removed from the glory days there in Wisconsin. Like, they had a touchdown last week, and it was nice. It was really nostalgic to see that happen again. But at the same time, it's like, that's what it is. Like, Aaron Rodgers can't move. He's the biggest statue in the pocket in the NFL right now. And Davante Adams is still trying to navigate an offense that is a new play caller as well. They took the play calling duties from Nathaniel Hackett and gave him to Todd Downing. Remember Todd Downing from his Titans days? And then you've got an interim head coach in Ulbrich. I mean, there's the only thing that the Jets can hang their hat on are their offensive stars in Rodgers and Breece Hall and Davante Adams and Garrett Williams, who's leading the NFL in a lot of major wide receiver statistical categories. And look, the defense is fine. It's taken a step back. I don't think anybody can deny that. They had kind of a resurgence against a really struggling Texans offensive front where they were able to kind of supplement their sack total with 8 last week. Like, if that happens, if they come in and they get 8 sacks against Kyler Murray, then sure, I can see, another path to victory. But if it's solely relying on Aaron Rodgers in this offense, somehow getting the spark, jump starting things at week 10 of the NFL season, I'll still ride with the Cardinals and how the consistency that they've put on display the last couple of weeks. What they have at the head coaching position and across the board on the coaching staff, the continuity there, and then the consistency from Kyler Murray this season. I'll take that, just like I said I would take it against the Bears last week.
CJ Stroud played maybe his worst game as a pro 10 days ago or 8 days ago. 11 for 30, sacked 8 times. No touchdowns, no interceptions. But Houston, again, 36 attempts, 187 yards, 5.2 yards per clip. I want this offense to reach new heights, and for Marv and for Michael Wilson, everybody to go off. Like Cardinals, if they're smart and we think they're well coached here, it's going to be the same thing that we saw last week against Chicago. The Jets can't stop the run. Brian Baldinger was on our show on Wednesday. Everybody go check that out. We've isolated that interview. Baldy said the Cardinals ran the same three run plays the entire game against the Chicago Bears. And I think Chicago is much more competent defensively than the Jets, who basically canned their head coach. They did can him and have been terrible defensively since then. Like, you guys don't think that the Cardinals are going to run on the Jets and control the line of scrimmage again and work off of play action? Like, you don't think Kyler Murray's just as fresh as Aaron Rodgers coming off, 20 attempts against the Chicago Bears? The Cardinals, in my opinion, they've got high 20s written all over them in this game. And listen, am I concerned about Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson? 100%. But you got to be feeling good about how the Cardinals corners performed against, a pretty good receiving core against Chicago. I mean, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze and company. Like, I don't know. Caleb Williams ran into some sacks. I'll give him that. But who are the quarterbacks that have really killed the Cardinals this year? Guys that are like what Aaron Rodgers used to be 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Mobile outside the pocket. Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, and who's the third? Kid out of Green Bay. Jordan Love, who could move outside the pocket, and the Cardinals clearly didn't have any grasp defensively that game. Like, I just don't envision Aaron Rodgers like scrambling around making plays. I think I've watched a lot of Jet games because they've been force-fed down our throats because they've been on prime time 6 times this year. Like, you sneeze on him, he falls down. The Patriots abused the Jets. I know that was 2 weeks ago, but that game wasn't competitive.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, they were able to dial up the right amount of pressure with really no linebackers. Like, no pass rushers. They gave away Uche. They traded Judon before the season. They claimed Yannick and Ngakoue today inexplicably. Like, what the hell are you doing with 2 wins? Using that waiver claim, and he's probably like, what the hell happened? I was with the Ravens and today I'm headed to Foxborough.
Should be with the Cardinals.
Prayers up to Yannick. But man, it really is. It is strange. So, but like, it does make you pause. Like, Damon and I went through this. Like, Damon pointed this out on the Bet365 app like weeks ago. He's like, hey, have you seen this spread for the Texans game between the Jets and the Texans? Like, I'm pounding this. I'm teasing it. This is what we're going to do. And I'm like, I'm in on this. It makes no sense to me. Like, the Jets have nothing going to them. And then to have it happen in a second week in a row, it does make you pause. Like, what does Vegas see in the Jets? What's there for them to pull off the win on the road and do it like where Baldy told us he was in East Rutherford the other day and they hadn't practiced in like 10 days.
That's
like
fine.
They were just hanging out, doing a walkthrough and like, oh, we're good. We're good with their interim coach. We're good incorporating all these new pieces. We're just going to hang our hat on nostalgia. Like, that's going to overall, the power of Aaron Rodgers and friendship is going to get this thing past the finish line for the Jets. And I don't get it. Like, that's why it feels like the trap game. You can't deny it. Like, I think the Cardinals, Gannon even said it recently, like, hey, we know a couple things about ourselves. One, we can blow teams out. The other, we can be blown out and we can win tight games. And the Arizona Cardinals, I think, if as long as they come prepared, they should be able to avoid this trap game.
They're kind of polar opposites of each other, right? Jets, tons of turnovers, tons of pre-snap penalties and mistakes, right? They're never buttoned up, but they feel like, well, they're Kingsbury-esque. We're super talented, guys. We can make up for that on the back end. Whereas the Cardinals, I think one of the biggest knocks on them nationally is, Well, they don't beat themselves, but they don't have a lot of talent, specifically defensively. Give me this team right now the way they're playing at home. Give me certainly the coaching advantage. I mean, the Cardinals respectfully should be able to undress the Jets and their coaching staff. Like, Drew Petzing has had 2 back-to-back good weeks in a row. I think he can build off of that this week. Nick Rallis and Jonathan Gannon versus Nat Hackett and their offense. Like, I don't care if it's peak Joe Montana, Jerry Rice out there. Like, coaching matters in the NFL. This is not, SEC football. You just have the best caliber athletes on any given Saturday. Like, to me, this is where we put everything else aside and say, who's your quarterback and who's your head coach? And that's why the Cardinals won last weekend, and that's why they're going to build off of it this weekend. We've got more game preview right around the corner here on PHNX Cardinals. Can the Cardinals be money on Sunday? Well, speaking of money, how about do yourself a favor, upgrade your financial acumen today with our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union, the official credit union of PHNX Sports, the Venerable household, hello, and the Arizona Cardinals. That's the trifecta you can get behind right now. They have a team of financial experts who are committed to their members, their community, and offering financial solutions. Make lives better. Achieve your financial goals and dreams right now with our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union. They've got checking accounts, savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. What's going on with these interest rates? They'll tell you. They'll tell you when the best time is to buy a home, to get a mortgage, to refinance. They're going to set you up. Plus, how about represent the Red Sea with the Arizona Cardinal Visa debit card? Show your team spirit right now. Go to desertfinancial.com/CardinalsBow to get started. Plus, you can win right now, if you're a member of the Red Sea, a prize pack that includes not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 tickets to a Cardinals away game on December 29th, plus round trip, airfare, hotel accommodations, theme park tickets, a $2,000 Visa gift card, and more. Get into the game today. Enter at desertfinancial.com/getaway to get started.
You don't mess where you keep your money, and you don't mess with new flooring. It's one of those things that's daunting when you start the process, but our friends over at Empire Today right now is going to put you in good hands where you can have easy, quick, convenient installation for beautiful carpeting or flooring. Check out our friends at empiretoday.com/PHNX and start your journey with, how about an immediate $350 off the process with our friends over at Empire Today. They got the virtual floor designer. It's easy. Just take your smartphone, take a picture of your dwelling, and then you can get into the virtual floor designer and look what new flooring would look like in your setting, whether it's your condo, whether it's your house, wherever it may be. It's Empire Today is going to hook you up with the best professionals. They're going to make it easy and quick and convenient to do so. Make sure you check them out and save some money while doing so. Get that free in-home estimate today. All of our listeners receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHNX for all of the details.
Really good stuff today at the Tempe facility, Bo. You were there, and I feel like there was a lot of clarity ahead of the bye week because, like, Cardinals are going to be off after Sunday, and they're going to have some much-needed R&R. But it's like, okay, whether they're 6-4, 5-5, we're hunkering down for the rest of the season. What's going on with the likes of Jonah Williams and specifically Darius Robinson?
Yeah, so we got our first kind of eyes on Darius Robinson today. He was working out on the side with a couple of the training staff, still not practicing officially DMP. And as far as the details, can't say too much about it, but it's a step in the right direction. And then, of course, our beat reporter, Craig Morgan, wanted to get to the bottom of it. And with, Darius Robinson having his practice window being designated to return over 3 weeks ago, and that 21 window opening and then nearly closing before activation, the Cardinals activated him last week. And now 4 weeks removed from it, still no Darius as far as being an active player on the 53-man roster. One would just think that there might have been a setback. I mean, Gannon already admitted to Darius feeling discomfort after returning to the practice field that one practice and then haven't seen him since. Craig asked JG straight up, was there a setback? This was the answer.
No, he's doing a good job, getting better every day. Hopefully we'll get him out here soon.
So not much to that. And then I followed up to end the press conference with an update on Jonah Williams, who's officially questionable on the Cardinals injury report, final one going into Sunday. So there's a potential, but he would have to be added to the active 53 between now and actually the deadline would be tomorrow to be active. So, he said the same thing. It's day to day. We'll see with him. So they're not going to kind of give us any free ones as far as Darius and Jonah Williams, but Darius already ruled out, not going to play. Chance for Jonah Williams. And then Matt Prater, who's been on IR now for 2 weeks, going into week 3 of a minimal 4. And with Chad Ryland being your NFC special teams player of the month, nice up and coming kicker. Gannon said that he expects Matt Prater to return, that he's doing well, that he's been at the facility working out, and that there's very real potential that he can come back. So I don't know how they would navigate that while being able to keep a potential kicker of the future, while also bringing back, the guy that's made some big kicks for him during his Cardinals tenure.
A lot to dive into what you just broke down. Number one, Jonah Williams. Let's let Kelvin Beachum finish what has been a really nice stretch of games. I mean, he's got, I think, a 68 PFF grade. Kelvin do it one last time, albeit against a really good Jets front, Hassan Reddick included. Get Tip Ryman out there and let big number 68 finish strong and let Jonah Williams come back against Seattle. I think that's a no-brainer. Clearly the direction they're headed. As far as Darius goes, we figure, okay, he's working out a little bit this week. He's going to work out next week. He's going to work out the week of the Seahawks. That'll give him really 3 weeks of kind of on the field, ramping it up. That hopefully is enough time. And if it's not, then they'll have to defer to the following week. But anytime Darius is on the field, off to the side, I know he's not involved in team drills. That's a good sign. That's progressing in the right direction. I think where a lot of us were concerned is, how can he be progressing? He's never outside with his teammates. He's not around, right? Well, that's put to bed. And then lastly, with Prater, I mean, like, respectfully to Matt, like, this is Chad Ryland's job now. And I appreciate what Gannon said, because Prater, as you mentioned, has made a lot of big kicks for this team. And you don't want to disrespect the guy. And I also think keep the pressure on Chad Ryland. Hey, it's like, you missed 3 kicks this weekend. Then what happens, right? Yeah. I don't want to put that bad juju on the NFC Special Teams Player of the Month. Where has this come from? What reality land are we living in right now? But I do think that Ryland's going to continue kicking it until, something forces the issue, probably if he goes off the deep end. But I don't see that happening now. I think Prater's probably just going to be stashed, and they're just going to tell him, hey, man, like, hit free agency this fall. We appreciate all your efforts. We're going to pay you out. But even Prater behind closed doors has to be like, well, this kid's earned it.
Yeah, it's the ultimate Wally Pipp at the place kicking position. I mean, it's not unheard of, and it's one of those you have to kind of ride the hot hand. And I agree. I mean, you've got a guy who was a year removed from being drafted in the 4th round. That the Patriots saw a lot of talent in, and utilizing an early day 3 pick on, right or wrong there, and then they cut the cord, and then the Cardinals are the beneficiary from one team's garbage is their gold. It turns out what is he, 10 for 11 with 3 game-winning kicks, and he's got a couple 50-yarders. He's 2 for 2 from 50 and beyond. Yeah, I mean that would be tough to move on for, and like carrying 2 kickers. I mean, I don't see a world where that happens, and I also don't see a world where like either one of them sneak onto the practice squad. Like, no, there's so much inconsistencies. I know the numbers are up across the league, but there are teams that would do some unspeakable things just to get their hands on a consistent kicking game. And either one of those guys would be gobbled up in a minute. So that's interesting. And then one thing I left off, big question mark, of key player on defense, Jalen Thompson is questionable for the game with an ankle. He popped up on the injury report on Thursday and was out of practice on Friday. So I don't know if this is something that happened in practice on Thursday and he just couldn't go today. But we talked to Robert Taylor Demerson, who is just the pretty much who would start in place of JT. And this is Rabbit, he's ready to roll.
Yeah, man. It's definitely exciting, but at the same time as every single week, I prepare to play. I prepare just as much as Buddha and JT do just to go on the field. And unfortunately, one of the scenarios, so it's just me. Honestly, it's just me going in and doing my job. Like, they brought me here for a reason to come in, be the next guy up, and now it's the next guy up moment. So with JT gone, man, just do my 111 so there's no drop-off and the team can continue to build where we want to be.
Kind of exciting. I mean, as much as we love Jalen Thompson and how productive he's been, playing on the back end of the Cardinals defense, I think everybody in this fan base, if this rookie class, especially after his preseason performance with a pick, is excited to watch Rabbit Taylor Demison get some extended playing time.
Imagine if you're Rabbit and you're watching the rest of these rookies, specifically like guys like Xavier Thomas, who, is benefiting, I think, from a lackluster front seven. So he's getting opportunities. Good for him. Taylor Demerson was, outside of Marv, the Cardinals' best rookie during the preseason. And then Darius got hurt. But like Taylor Demerson was jump off the screen electric. But he just so happens to be in a loaded position group with two guys that are, any given year could be Pro Bowlers. So fun fact, he's their highest rated defensive player with 50 or more snaps, according to PFF. Taylor Demerson is. Now it's a small sample size, but he's got an elite coverage rating of just under 90. And like, where have Buddha and Jalen kind of had a tough time this year? It's been in coverage. So I'm excited to see him. Here's my only concern. Taylor Demerson has been aces dynamite on special teams. He made a special teams tackle in the open field last week. Is there a drop off there where the Cardinals could be susceptible to a kick return, a punt return, coverage, whatever? The Cardinals, they brought him along slowly. Like, you talk about Wally Pipp. I don't think he's going to Wally Pipp Jalen Thompson. I think Jalen Thompson, number one, is under contract. He's a good player. Like, admittedly, not having as good of a year as last year, but it's hard to judge this defense and the secondary with no pass rush. I think the best case scenario is you get all three of them involved. And, certainly this week, you talk about needing to benefit from plus coverage. Two really good receivers, elite receivers for the Jets, like get him out there and let him swat some passes away. The only thing that concerns me on top of the special teams issue, the youth now in the secondary, you've got first and second year defensive backs minus Buddha against this savvy receiving room and Aaron Rodgers. Now, give me athleticism, which could lead to some big plays, a snafu here or there, but Max Melton, rookie, Taylor Demerson, rookie, Starling Thomas, Garrett Williams have only been in the league 2 years and have not played a full season, especially Garrett Williams. And now you've got Rabbit, who's never started an NFL game. So there's a lot of intrigue there.
They got to avoid any kind of breaks in coverage, any busts in coverage. Like they had one last week against Roma Dunze. It didn't completely bite them in the backside because they were able to hold and keep them out of the end zone. But it was a big 40-yard plus play on third down. Outside of that, there weren't too many explosives in the passing game. Like if you can avoid that, and we saw, Rabbit be a part of that in the preseason, as much as he flashed, we saw one bad, like where he was part of a break in coverage. And like Max, looks like Sean Murphy Bunting's going to be back this week. I don't even think he has an injury designation. So I think he's going to return from the neck issue, but I expect Max Melton to continue to play snaps here. So yeah, I mean, it's a very green secondary. I love the upside as far as being able to take the ball away, but yeah, you're going to have to take, it's not as easy as just put him in there and he's just going to be able to play with his hair on fire. But I'm excited to see him get some reps. I really am.
If you remember in the preseason, here's the Taylor Demerson experience. He'd probably miss an assignment. He'd come back the next play and he'd intercept a pass or he'd force a fumble or make a tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Like he has everything you want from an athletic standpoint. And I mean, we've talked about it. People get upset about it. Like Budda Baker's in a contract year. Budda Baker is a tremendous player, heartbeat of the defense, has limitations where? In coverage. Where does Taylor Demerson shine? In coverage. So these are tryouts. These are extended tryouts. And Cardinals, I mean, the more rookies, second-year players they can start, the better. And that's the makeup of this team right now. And that's why it's exciting to watch them every week because, they're going to grow and get better instead of the old beaten down Cliff Kingsbury teams.
Yeah. And one other point you made I wanted to address was the special teams thing. Like we still saw with his increase on the defensive snaps, Max Melton remain on teams. I think we'll still see the same with Rabbit Taylor Demerson just because they project to be there the remainder of the season. Like I think they'll graduate probably as early as next year, but I think this season they're both going to have the opportunities to continue to make big plays on teams, which has been huge for this team. I think there's better chance of Rabbit Taylor Demerson splitting time, playing the safety spot on defense if JT can't go, and then also, playing on coverage, kick coverage, instead of like Joey Blount, who has been so good on teams, getting some time as far as a safety, which is his position.
Will Baron Browning play and make his Arizona Cardinal debut? We're going to answer that question and more up next on PHNX Cardinals. We mentioned it top the show. This line continues to move in favor of the Jets, but it could be in favor of you if you want to dabble on that money line, get some plus money en route to a Cardinal dub with our friends at Bet365. Never ordinary. They've got 90 million users worldwide, 780,000 events each year. They have pioneered live in-game betting. No better time to sign up with our friends at Bet365. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Deposit just $10 and place a bet of $5 or more. Get $150 in bonus bets right now. Perfect time. Hockey season, check. NHL, college football, NBA, full slate of games almost every night. And, of course, the chef's kiss, coup de grace, NFL Sunday kickoff. How about Cardinals underdog against the Jets this weekend? We're hoping to make some money with our friends at Bet365 via hold or fold the line this week. Come on, Panthers, 2 weeks in a row. You can do it. You can do it right now. Download the Bet365 app. Bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. $5 or more. It's going to get you $150 in bonus bets. Find out why, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary with our friends at Bet365. You do have to be 21 years and older, physically located here in the great state of Arizona. If you were someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
Suffered heartbreak last night as far as my hold or fold pick. Couldn't get it done, going for two. The Bengals pour one out. I needed to drown my sorrows in a polar pop over with our friends over at Circle K. Always answering the bell when I suffer heartbreak on the betting streets. America's Thirst Shop. What else do you need? Check it out, Circle K, and get even more rewards by joining their free membership program, the Inner Circle. All you do, enter your email, your phone number, you're fully enrolled. That's it. And then you start to immediately save at the pump, 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, 3 cents per gallon every day after that. And guess what? If you're like me and Johnny and Damon, big ballers, we're getting 5 cents off per gallon since we've been in the Inner Circle for so long. And we didn't have to do anything else than that. That's right. Boom, baby. That's right. We love it. Thirst is met. It's matched. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply. Participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for all the details.
Love the action in the chat. Drop a like on this video. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here online. PHNX.com.
Can I give a quick history lesson real quick? I mean, I know it's not the most pressing issue. We said Wally Pipp twice, and there's a good chance that nobody knows what the hell we're talking about when we say it. Damon, do you know Wally Pipp?
You really think that people don't know what Wally Pipp is?
Okay,
I'm a seam head.
You are
know
a
that,
seam
pal.
head. You're a historian as far as baseball goes. Wally Pipp was the Yankees' first baseman in the 20s. Ooh. And he took a day off, and Lou Gehrig filled in for him and then proceeded to fill in for him for the next 2,130 games. So, Wally Pipp thought he had a job to come back to and then was done. So that's what we mean by Wally Pipp. When you have a job and somebody comes in, fills in, and then takes it on from there.
Interesting. Thank you for that. Good stuff from Bo Brack. Will Baron Browning, Wally Pipp, somebody on the Cardinals defensive line? Is there anybody even worthy of being Wally Pipped on the Cardinal defensive line? In all seriousness, Cardinals have welcomed new pass rusher from Denver, Baron Browning, to the practice field. He's gotten a couple practices in. I'll put you on the spot, Bo Brack. Given the state of this pass rush, odds that we see him active and has a role on Sunday against the Jets.
I think there's a pretty good shot he's got a role. Now, is that in the form of, is he going to be on a pitch count? Is he going to, are you going to see him full part of the rotation, or are they going to maybe have somebody just in case? Like, would they maybe have 6 active outside linebackers instead of 5 or 4? 5 instead of 4, I should say. I think that's a possibility, but I could be very wrong here, but I got this sense that there's a good chance he could play just based on, what they feel his strength is as far as creating pressure for opposing quarterbacks and what they would probably view as a really rock solid game plan in making Aaron Rodgers uncomfortable. We talked to his position coach today, Coach Rob Rodriguez. he gave us more insight as far as the skill set from Baron Browning.
Oh, well, I mean, there's so many things. He's got versatility, so I guess that would be the first one. But he does have tremendous bend, and he already has a lot of experience rushing the passer and has an arsenal. So I don't have to teach him a lot of moves and get him out a lot of stuff. Really what it is refining stuff that matches our technique. Not our technique, but really our scheme. Getting him in the right angles just to make sure that it all spaces out right. But it's really just his ability to bend and his versatility, because he can cover, he can play the run, and he's already a really good pass rusher when you get him in the right position. So that's probably, all those things. And he does have the intelligence to do a lot of things. So right now I think we're probably going to keep it, pretty simple to start, of course, but I think the future is pretty bright with that guy.
Kind of sounds like, keep it simple to start, and you have a basic role going in there.
I have a chance to be courted this week. You can court your boy. Aaron Rodgers, very susceptible to pressure, sneezing, he falls over. Jets offensive line, not great. They're trotting out Morgan Moses and a bunch of,
I don't even know if Morgan Moses is going to play. We have their injury report.
Yeah, let's check it out here. Let's check out the Jets injury report. CJ Mosley's out again. Cardinals are going to run wild again, but the Jets offensive line, not great. Morgan Moses did not practice. He's questionable. Elijah Vera Tucker did not practice or limited. He's questionable. So there are going to be chances. And Damon, if we could come back to us real quick here, I'm going to make a plea to the Cardinals defensive coordinator, Nick Rallis. Please send pressure against Aaron Rodgers. This front four, I would love to be proven wrong. When is the last time in real time that the Cardinals have been able to succeed there? If Baron Browning can get pressure with 4, if he is one of the 4 that rushes Aaron Rodgers and gets pressure, I will eat crow on air. I want to do that on the postgame show. But at the same time, if they have a role for him and he's out there and they're not succeeding rushing 4 and he's not getting home, then I think we have a right to be critical. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, we're going to ease him in. Blah, blah, blah. No, Hassan Reddick came off the couch and is getting sacks for the Jets, right? I'm going to hold you at a higher standard. Like, if you have a role and you're going to come in here and the Cardinals are going to play a certain style of defense, Xavier Thomas had a sack and a half last week. Are you going to remove him and put this kid in here, Baron Browning? Like, you better perform. This is a perfect easing game. Battle line, immobile quarterback at home. Let's see you get results.
Hassan Reddick had a token half sack of the 8.
He was. Did you watch that game? He's electric. He was electric.
That's your boy. What did he do last time against the Cardinals? Did he even play? I mean, I know he was on the field.
They had their defensive coordinator who they fired had him in coverage. So I think, again, circumstances. I trust the Cardinals coaches more than the Eagles coaches.
We do need it. Like, if 1 sack or 2 sacks for Browning in a debut, I think that you should have to do something.
Okay, let's do it right now. Damon, come off mute. Let's collectively. I'm happy. I'm not going to shave my head or anything, but like, what do you want me to do on air? What's chat? You tell me what's appropriate.
Somebody said you eat an habanero pepper. What do we think about that?
I have no issue with that.
That wouldn't be that hot. We got to luck into
luck into a sack and a half.
You need two.
Yeah, no, sack and a half, 1.5.
What if he's part of 2 half sacks? What if he hits the quarterback twice?
What's his total box score sacks?
That's
Xavier Thomas, a baby, came out and had a sack and a half last week. Baron Browning has to get the over.
You wanted to anoint him as like the next Reggie White. You're like, my God, Xavier Thomas is better than all these pass rushers on the market.
Wow, there's some
people saying drink a beer. Some people saying eat a steak.
There's some really, come on, guys.
Tough punishments for our boy here.
Yeah, that is brutal. Like, I hope it happens so Johnny can enjoy a steak and drink a beer on.
That would be nice. People are saying get a tattoo, wear a Max Hall jersey. Those are fates worse than death. 1 chip challenge. I'll eat a hot pepper on air. Sure.
Okay.
You want 1.5 sacks he's got to hit or more. If
you'll go down to your local store and you'll get the hottest pepper you can find.
I don't know about the hottest. I mean,
what? Come on, what's this? What are the stakes on this?
Mr.
What do I
get?
What if he no shows? Does everybody apologize to me? We'll get all the fan.
Yeah, you get the benefit. You get the benefit of walking around. Oh, I was so right about Baron Brown. I don't want to
do that. I don't do that though. See, that's the problem with this show and the reputation for some reason that I've endured here is like people think I want to come on the post-game show Sunday or come on our show on Monday and be like, I was right, losers. I don't want that. I want this team to win a Super Bowl. I've watched them my entire adult life. Yeah. They have stunk. I want them to be well, to do good things. And I just didn't understand the acquisition. Doesn't mean I'm rooting for the poor guy to fail. He's 25 years old. I hope he has success. I hope
our guy Craig Morgan, who we're going to talk to in a minute, he's got an option for you, and he'll bring it to us when he joins us live.
The pepper thing, I'm not sold on. I feel like we could do better than that.
I feel like that you're kind of scared of it.
I like the candy burrito.
You want me to get the candy burrito from the Cards?
Yeah, that'd be pretty brutal. I think.
I don't want to.
Johnny might enjoy that though.
Out that I did that. I don't want that. That JG knows if I ate a candy burrito because
I love actually just for that actual only reason, like you stuffing your face with a bunch of candy. That might be a good one too.
Candy boy.
Say, JG, I'm a disgusting, gross candy boy.
Hey JG, look at this video. I just happened to have up on my camera roll.
I'm trying to cut out my gluten intake. As you guys know, I'm like 85% gluten free right now. So if we could not disrupt that, that'd be great.
Tip Ryman jersey, ice bucket over the head. All these are good suggestions.
Ice bucket's fine. We could do that. I mean,
you were so out on a hot pepper. That's so funny.
Well, I don't want to have a meltdown on air either.
That's exactly what I know. We want.
Why is it that I have to do this? Like you guys should have to do something.
We weren't as outspoken about the trade.
No, sorry for having strong opinions. Let's just have milk toast opinions every day. I don't know about that. I don't know either. End of the show. That's it. Let's get to some of these super chats before Craig and I have to yell at Bo. Low Dog, $5. Cards are better as home dogs. Much love and aloha from Ohio boys. What's up, Low Dog? We appreciate you, my guy. And you're right. I'm always at the point like Vegas doesn't know or respect this team. They picked them to have 6.5 wins. Let the fraud. There's not a bigger fraud team than the Jets. Whether they win or lose this time, they are going nowhere. They have no future. I told this guy I was on a hit with earlier today. I'm like, Cardinals are playing with house money. This is a must-win for the Jets. Their entire franchise could implode. Like quarterback, receiver are both free agents. They have no head coach. They have no Cardinals. Everything's in front of them, so they should be playing like that, free and easy.
Yeah, as the Jets after the Cardinals, they have a little bit of they get the Colts and then a bye week and then a big 3-game stretch where they take on the Seahawks, Dolphins, Jags. Chance to get back, but 7th loss could be the final straw there that breaks. Here we go. Biscuits and Bear, $20. Everyone loses their mind. Joker meme. Cards win 3 in a row. Jets win 1 game. Everybody goes crazy. Yeah, I mean that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. Did you see how they won by a touchdown over the Texans at home on a short week? It was unbelievable.
Cardinals have to earn back the national respect, and that to combine that, you have to have sustained success. Cardinals can't just be good this year. Cardinals are good. Like the Seahawks and the Cardinals, I think could be very similar with that Pete Carroll-esque run, but they put it together over almost a decade, and that's how you garner it. It has to be built. These franchises with big fan bases in huge markets like New York and Chicago and Dallas, like you can be bad and still get headlines and still get clicks. Cardinals are going to have to build this the old-fashioned way, and I don't think they have any issue doing that. We're going to get to Craig Morgan. We're going to talk to him about who he likes and the latest on Darius Robinson that's right around the corner here on PHNX Cardinals. First things first, I know Bo loves when I talk up my friends at Rugged Road. And why not? Rugged Road, PHNX is partnering with Rugged Road right now, 10% off, dedicating and creating innovative and durable outdoor gear. And let me tell you right now, their coolers have this lightweight design that is unbelievable. Right now, it's perfect hiking season. It's prime outdoor season here in sunny Arizona. Rugged Road coolers, incredibly light, easy to transport, can't compromise your performance, whether you're hiking, whether you're camping with a loved one, whatever you want to do. Durability and dependability are the name of the game. Perfect for a variety of outdoor activities from fishing, tubing, camping, tailgating, tailgate season, baby. Hopefully we're tailgating some playoff games here in AZ with our friends at Rugged Road. They are coolers designed to meet the needs of every outdoor and sports enthusiast. Get ready for your adventure with our friends at Rugged Road Coolers. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com. Use the bonus code PHNX for 10% off your order. I promise you, best coolers money can buy, point blank, lightweight, durable, always floating upright, perfect on land or water. So leave that old heavy cooler. We all have that in our garage, right? Taking up space, weighs 1,000 pounds. Get that out of here and get yourself a better cooler for the season. Rugged Road, your ultimate outdoor companion.
Yep. Felt like took it home. True outdoorsman.
Thanks for that, Bo.
Yeah, no problem. We had an unbelievable PHNX trivia night last night at Chicken and Pickle. Our guy Derek emceeing it, doing such a great job with hopefully the cards trivia wasn't too hard out there. I'd have to maybe survey the crew, but I think everybody had a great time. For more events, you got to check out gophnx.com/events. Like, how about our upcoming watch party after the bye week when the Cardinals visit Seattle? We're going to be hanging out at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass for all Cards Roads games. Next one, November 24th. Don't miss it. We got the live pre-halftime and post-game show, food, drink specials, PHNX giveaways. You can RSVP for free right now. gophnx.com/events.
Big shout out to our guy, Eric Gonzalez, who was with us in South Beach. Just posted. He just got his Die Hard package.
Oh, nice.
Charlotte. Check him out. We appreciate you, Eric. It was so great to see you, hang with you and your wife during our takeover in Miami en route to a Cards dub. And speaking of Die Hard, become a Die Hard, gophnx.com. I had a bunch of people message me recently like, what's this Die Hard about? I'm like, let me tell you. Do you like free merch, right? Do you like a PHNX Cardinals exclusive member Discord? Do you want to read this man's articles? Go to gophnx.com. How about this? Discounts on events, Die Hard membership card, Discord, free shirt, and premium written content headlined by this man. He's the PHNX Cardinals beat reporter. Craig Morgan joins the show. And Craig, we touched on it a little bit before the show off air. You've got some stuff that you want to discuss, my friend, and part of it has to do with Darius Robinson, which, by the way, shout out to Craig Morgan asking the tough questions at the presser earlier today.
The first thing I want to ask is, what was the worst suggestion for what you had to eat on air?
I think the worst suggestions were the people in the chat and like, have Johnny drink a beer or eat a steak. Like, I'm not man enough to do those mundane things that people do in their real lives. That hurts me than any of the extreme challenges.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about myself that I went to sort of a third grade level when thinking about this. Like,
oh yeah,
I want to see Johnny eat worms or spiders or like goldfish or something on the air. That's what I thought about. So
these are hurtful. These are hurtful coming from you, Craig.
Smoke a cigarette or something. Just something he would.
I like that a lot.
Stop! I have asthma. No.
Yeah, you can like don a French accent. Just speak very slowly. I like this. Right. Let's go with that.
What have you get? Johnny practice sing on the show, JG. Your thoughts?
So
all right,
good.
Let's talk football. Craig Morgan, his newest article, Outside the Nets. Jets beat writer offers view from the other side.
Yeah, can you pronounce that last name?
What's that?
Can you pronounce Al's last name? Because I keep trying, and it just sounds like when Al retires, he should open a pizzeria, because that's just the perfect name. Anyway, yes. Sorry, Johnny. I cut you off.
You're fine. Go ahead, Craig. Let's talk about Darius Robinson. Let's talk about what's on your mind ahead of this game, because, again, we're trying to make sense of why the Cardinals are underdogs against this fraud Jets team at home.
I do want to talk about Darius Robinson. I heard you guys talking a little earlier, and I know Jonathan Gannon said, no, there was not a setback. Something doesn't feel right to me here. It's been a month since they opened the window. He's not practicing. As Bo mentioned, he's off to the side, but he's doing rehab. That's what he's doing on the side. I can't help wondering if there's something more to this story. And listen, I get it. If they want to keep this stuff from us, I get it. If he's really experiencing some emotional trauma too. We don't know any of these things because we haven't been able to talk to Darius Robinson yet, but it's weird to me that he hasn't practiced with the team yet after all this time. They opened the window a month ago. He came back from his mom's funeral service. He's working out on the side. Why isn't he practicing? I don't get it. So something just feels off to me there. I'm not saying that I'm correct, but something feels off. My spider sense is tingling. And that's another thing you could eat, Johnny, by the way, on the air.
Don't be doing that.
Okay.
It is. I wonder if, and Gannon did, as far as the most transparent he's been with us, Craig, was the first week. Darius returned to practice Wednesday, was very limited, kind of looked like what Baron Browning was doing earlier this week, kind of standing, observing, and then he doesn't practice Thursday. He doesn't practice Friday. And then Gannon says Friday morning, he's officially he's out. He's not, there's no chance he's active. And then said that he experienced some discomfort. And then that's been the last. And then ever since then, there's been, we're ramping him up. And then we don't see any signs of him. I wonder, I really do wonder if he experienced that discomfort and they just are erring on the extreme side of caution and looked down the road and saw the bye week back then and just said, we're not going to do anything truly as far as practice and participation until after the bye week.
That's fair, and that's possible, but I don't get then telling us he's ramping
that's
up.
The biggest misstep. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Because all of us assumed that, he's going to be practicing. And then this week, especially, I assumed he was going to be back out on the field, and then he wasn't. And I don't know. We're going to get some clarity on this eventually when D-Rob does speak in the room. We haven't seen him in the room, so it's impossible. Just want to let people know that Darius Robinson has not been available in the room for us to talk to him. But it's just odd. It's an odd situation to me. It's a very long time for him not to be back at practice yet. But hopefully, as you guys mentioned earlier, you've got this long time frame now with the bye week and then the week leading into Seattle. Hopefully, he can make some progress in that period of time.
Well, and the biggest thing to kind of just make this all go away is him return and then him playing football. And then most of the questions really kind of go away. And then like in the off season, maybe you get clarity from players, coaches alike, on what really went down during the season. I think there is so much of an emphasis on gamesmanship and maybe keeping opposing players I'll roll my eyes at it. I'm sure a lot of fans and people who cover the team would roll their eyes at it. Like, what does it really do for like a Jeff Ulbrich or any opposing coaches or offensive coordinators? Like, do they have to prepare for Darius Robinson or not, when it's pretty clear that they don't? But they still hold on to that, little wrinkle of game planning that maybe it presents.
I just feel like at this point, like Darius Robinson is a complete wild card that you really just have to say, you know what, when we get him back, we get him back. If this was, losing a parent out of complete nowhere, if this is really lingering with him, like I really do feel like we're just at a point where I don't know how his mom passed. It's not our business. But if this was unexpected and this was his rock in his life, like I don't think we should be surprised that this is taking a long time, coupled with his injury. I do feel like Gannon was pretty direct. Like he didn't suffer a setback. I don't know what the problem would be if he had. I feel like Gannon would admit that. Like if he. Yeah, you know what? He went out that first day, didn't feel right, so we're kind of scaling it back a little bit. But none of that came to be. This just, to me, and I could be completely in the wrong about this. This feels like a coach and an organization protecting their player and not allowing expectations to run wild as it relates to when he could return. Because maybe this is emotional and this is mental right now, and if it is, it's not our business, but we're in the business of this, and we dissect every injury report, and we're wondering if this guy's healthy, why isn't he out there? And it feels honestly like the perfect storm. Like he got injured, he came back, right? He loses his mom. He had an injury already that was going to put him back. As Baldy broke down on our show, it could have been anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. So it just feels like, you know what? Cardinals are very fortunate to be 5-4. You have this prize rookie who does everything right, like Marv. You just have to just tell everybody, hey, when he's ready, and that's what they're doing. But I know it's not ideal for trying to break down like a prediction of when he could return, Craig.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize a couple points that you made. I do feel like whatever he gives them this season, that's gravy, right?
Right.
You shouldn't have any expectations for Darius Robinson at this point. And then just to underscore the personal side of this. We don't know. We don't know how much it impacts. I spoke to a source in his life preparing for a story that I hope to write eventually, saying his mom was his life. It was basically the one family member. That was the key family member. So we cannot underestimate that. What I just go back to, I don't get if he's going to be out there and he's healthy, why is he still working off to the side doing rehab? And why is the coach telling us he's ramping up? Those are the only things that I have questions about. Hopefully we'll get clarity on that soon.
Now let's get to the outside the nest breakdown you did with our guy. Was it Al Iannuzzi?
Go ahead.
Nail that one? I think I did.
Sure.
I mean, and Johnny and I have done the rounds as well. And it's like, I feel like every conversation has kind of gone similar. It's like they break down the Jets season and you think to yourself, like, what do they have going for them outside of the previous week's win that would tell you that this team is going to be dangerous coming to State Farm Stadium?
I mean, they have Hassan Reddick, right? I mean, Johnny's wanted him all season. So
Jonathan Gannon plus Hassan Reddick. That's what I want. Hassan Reddick with, Joe Schmo without Robert Saleh, Dirk McGirt, guys who are going to be unemployed in 2 months. That's not as good. We saw Hassan Reddick be neutralized by Sirianni's clown show at the end of last year with no JG, but they have great players. Their coaching is egregiously bad. It's awful.
Reddick did have 8 pressures in that last game, but more than anything, when I look at this team, man, this just feels like a trap game to me. To me, this is a sign of Cardinal maturity. Just be ready for this game, okay? They do have some very good players on offense. Aaron Rodgers clearly isn't the Aaron Rodgers of old, but they have 2 really good receivers. They got a little mojo last week. Just be careful here. Don't screw this one up is what I would say. You need to take care of business. You need to show that this team is in fact progressing maturity-wise, because there are some weapons on the other side of the field. This is the NFL. They played some close games against good teams. It's not like they did get routed by the Steelers, but they have played some close games like against the Bills. There is the possibility that they got some mojo off that last win, and they could come in here and surprise you a little bit. I worry about, I think you guys mentioned this earlier, the youth in the Cardinals secondary against these receivers. You got to find a way to get to Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't move very well anymore. You got to get to him, because I don't want to trust that youthful secondary, especially if Jalen's out as well. You don't want to rely on that young secondary having to shut down these receivers.
It's a really undisciplined team looking at it now. I mean, 3rd in the NFL as far as penalties, 72 on the season already, just behind Seahawks and the Ravens. You've got the inconsistencies as far as the coaching staff, the players on who's on the available. Reddick's just getting into it. Adams is coming over from another dysfunctional team. It's just a mess, and it's really shocking. As hot as the Cardinals have been at 3-0 and playing at home, going into a bye week. I mean, I guess that's where Vegas wants to kind of lean into this Jets and their talent on both sides of the football. It's strange. It's still strange to me. I mean, I understand it because I've been a sports fan all my life, and these trap games they are very real. They do exist, and this has the makings of it. But if the Cardinals do take care of business, they play disciplined football. They play well in all 3 phases like they've done the last couple of weeks, and even are just average at best on offense. I still think that they can get this job done fairly handily.
If you're watching on with our friends at Samsung, jump on over to gophnx.com. Party continues, and be sure to drop a like on this video. Trap game or not, we find out just right around the corner, but it is X Factor prediction time here on a football Friday. And this team, as you mentioned, both 3-0 in the last 3 weeks. And I feel like, we're getting the same cast of characters stepping up for this team each and every week. So it's hard to diversify these, but we're going to try nonetheless. I'd love to go first, gentlemen, if I could.
Well, let's go with Damon then, if we could.
All right.
No, Damon, out of respect for you, my guy, go ahead.
So you do want me to go first?
Yeah, let's see what Damon's got.
Okay. Out of respect,
on the spot.
That's almost like Johnny's saying, go after yourself.
Yeah, no. Out of respect for Damon, that means I hate him and no one cares what you have to say respectfully. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I'm going to go with Trey McBride for my offensive start this week. Yeah, I know. It's upset of the week. Trey McBride, I feel like it's been kind of what's been happening recently.
Yeah.
The offense has really been flowing through him. Last week, doesn't catch a touchdown, runs one into the end zone, disrespects a man while doing so.
Nice.
I love Trey McBride. I think he's the best player on this team, so I'm going with him as offensive star for like the 6th week in a row. Zaven Collins, hopefully, I want to see him build some momentum going forward this week. The Jets' offensive line isn't very good. It's banged up. 2 sacks last week. Let's keep it rolling, Zaven. Let's get another sack this week. At least 3 sacks in the last 2 weeks. That'd feel pretty good. And then X Factor, I think, a lot of times I've done Max Melton on this or Sean Murphy Bunting, but really the cornerbacks group as a whole, you got Garrett Williams, you got Davante Adams. I think they're going to test those guys a lot. If they can continue to play the young corners the way that they have recently, I think the Cardinals will be in good shape.
I like that. I do like Starling Thomas. I even almost chose him myself. He's been so sticky in coverage, been playing very well in his 2nd season. Johnny, had some fun with that. I would continue the bit and go to myself or Craig, but why don't you take the floor? You're excited.
I'm excited about my triplets this week. Let's go ahead and take a look at them here. I posted this yesterday on Twitter. I get borderline emotional when I hear Paris Johnson Jr. talk. I, as a fan and covering this team, the Cardinals were allergic to drafting like signature blue chip players from blue chip programs. Tulsa, right? We've Grambling State, UMass, off-ball linebackers. Say what you want about Monty Ossenford as an evaluative talent in free agency. The acquisition of Paris Johnson Jr. in the 1st round, I mean, is he the most valuable player on this team outside of Kyler Murray? I think you can make an argument. He is so good, so sound, and this week he's going to have to go up against the Jets defensive line that, yes, is undisciplined and they have a lot of penalties, but they're talented. Paris Johnson Jr., I mean, we had heard that they were tinkering with the idea of just keeping him a right tackle. It's been a godsend moving him over to left tackle. He's one of the best left tackles in the NFL. He's just, I think when push comes to shove, he's going to have his jersey retired in the Cardinals rafter. I think he's that good, and I think he's going to be that good this weekend. Then on the flip side, let's keep it with the draft and develop mindset. Dante Stills is the best 6th-round pick this team has drafted in 20 years. 3.5 sacks, leads the Arizona Cardinals. We talk about pressure. While I can't count on exterior pressure, at least that I've seen, Dante Stills finds a way to get in the backfield. I think he gets home against Aaron Rodgers at least once, and they can set the tone for not letting Breece Hall and company run wild. The run defense outside of, Miami and their playmakers has been good, especially at home. And then we talked about it earlier. Taylor Demerson, I think you're going to get some pluses. I think you'll get some batted balls, hopefully a turnover, and then there'll be times in the game where he looks out of position. You just got to roll with that. But the upside is so immense. I've talked about it. His play during the preseason jumps off the screen the same time we all watched like Darrell Washington. He was with the twos in the preseason. Like some guys, you can just tell that they're ballers. They can play big time football. He has been very much a deterrent based on the fact that he's in a loaded position group. If this kid played corner, if he played edge rusher, if he played D tackle, he'd have been starting 10 games by now. But he plays safety, and he's had to buy his time. Taylor Demerson is going to make a game-changing play on Sunday. Mark my word.
Wow.
I love it. Let's keep the good times rolling. Craig Morgan, let's see who your picks are.
All right, Damon, let's put them up.
Against the Jets.
All right. Let's start on offense with James Conner. The Jets have been very susceptible to the run. They're allowing more than 132 yards a game. As Johnny mentioned earlier, CJ Mosley's out. They're banged up a little bit on the line as well. In 4 of 5 home games this season, James Conner has topped 100 yards. It's that simple for me. Arizona goes to the well again in Glendale, riding the legs of not their bell cow back, but their bull back. James Conner's going to have a big day again. I think they're going to run all over this team, and that will set up everything else for the Cardinals offense. On defense, I'm going to go with Garrett Williams, who I think, to me, has been their best cornerback this season. I don't know if you guys saw the PFF grades for the Cardinals cornerbacks after that last game. I didn't agree with them. I thought they played very well. I don't know where those rankings came from, but I think Garrett has been their best guy back there consistently this season, a guy who looks like he's coming into his own in his second season. The Cardinals' pass defense is going to have its hands full. I mentioned this earlier. Davante Adams, Garrett Wilson, and the guy throwing them the ball can still do things even if he can't move. It's time for this young secondary to step up. I don't want them to be put on islands too much, but Garrett, I think he has the chance to make plays in this game. It is time for some Garrett on Garrett violence. And for the X, I'm going to go with Blake Gillikin. I don't know what more he can do to earn appreciation from the fan base. He's dropped 9 punts inside the 20-yard line in the past 3 weeks. His hang time is mesmerizing. He's netting 43 yards a punt. Only one of his punts has resulted in a touchback. And I think he set a modern-day NFL record of 3 straight weeks in which his coach praised him. Blake Gillikin, he's my X factor.
I love it. Very similar to what I have going on, so I'm not going to dive too deep into my offensive and defense of players of the game. Just different pictures, same players. James Conner, as you mentioned it, 5 times over the century mark this season as far as from yards from scrimmage, doing it at home at a high rate as well. He's kind of, especially against the 21st ranked rush defense, James Conner eats this week. And then I look at the G. Will versus G. Will, Garrett Wilson versus Garrett Williams. I love that matchup. Garrett Wilson plays a lot, runs a lot of his routes from the slot, around 25-30% of those. He's at the top of the league in most like receiving categories, yards, receptions. And Garrett Williams is on the other side of that as far as breaking up passes, defensive coverage, DVOA. I think that Garrett Williams matches up very well, gives them an opportunity to slow down the Jets' young receiver. And then my X factor, Johnny Venerable, cover your ears. Baron Browning in a rotational pass rush situation. I think he can get to and make Aaron Rodgers, the statue, very uncomfortable. I'd love to see it. I don't know if that's just kind of wishful thinking, but when you look at this pass rush group, who better to do it than somebody who's the most accomplished, even though he's just coming on short time from the Denver Broncos. Give me Baron Browning as my X factor on Sunday.
I remember when I was a fanboy, and then I looked at numbies. I looked at facts. So we'll see. Can Baron Browning make an impact here? You guys have been making an impact with your super chats. Before we dive into our official game predictions, let's dive into the super chats. Gannon, I 199. This is not 2021 Cards K1 game. I think alluding to the fact that, hey, trap game may not be relevant with Jonathan Gannon. I don't know if Jonathan Gannon is going to allow his team to get trapped, because I think, Craig, like looking at last week's game, the Bears off an emotional loss, they're going to be hyper-focused. Cardinals off an emotional win in Miami. I feel like that was maybe more the trap game. Now, can you just, what's the term they always use? Keep stacking wins. And I feel like this is just another notch to keep stacking wins. PR Mac, $2. Any word on Browning playing against the Jets? I asked Bo, Craig, if Browning was going to play. He leaned yes. What say you?
Yeah, I lean yes as well. I think situational, right? You're not going to work him into a full rotation at this point. I don't think he has nearly enough reps or understanding of this system yet, but I think we're going to see him in certain situations.
Our guy Schaff coming up big again. Recent diehard earlier this week, it was $100, $25, continues to be so generous. Thank you, Schaff. Let's not overlook the Jets, guys. Their defense is excellent. They ranked 5th against QBs, 4th versus wide receivers, 7th versus tight ends, 12th against running backs. So Connor needs a big game, a win on Sunday, and will deserve respect from the media. They're starting to see it. You look around, you've got Dan Orlovsky, you've got Matt Hasselbeck, you've got Pat McAfee, the whole everybody on the 4-letter network, the other one, not PHNX, giving the Cardinals a lot of praise this week, Craig. That does continue. I mean, I still think Monday morning, the biggest story is, the Jets dropped to 3-7, but still the Cardinals, they'll get plenty of love after that later in the week.
Yeah, there has been a lot. When I did the Outside the Nest, there was so much talk about after they were 2-1. I don't know if you guys were paying attention to national media at that point, but the Jets were like all the talk of the nation. This is a Super Bowl contender. Watch out for this team. And then they lost 5 straight games. But you're right. No matter what the New York teams do, they're going to get attention.
I loved your question today, Craig. And I think it just exemplifies like Gannon and how he commands this team when you mention playoffs. And Gannon's like, no one's thinking about playoffs.
Yeah, I did
and it's
love
like,
that answer.
You believe that when he said it, like you believed him. And I think the same thing, The Cardinals under JG do not care about national attention. They don't care about the media outside of this show, obviously. The national media, they don't want to. They don't care if they're on ESPN. They're doing national interviews. They don't care about any of that. That's the mindset you. It felt like so many times, like Cliff and Keim especially, reading your press clippings, like out doing hobnob and interviews. It's like Gannon and Austin Ford, almost to a fault. And we've talked about, our accessibility to them and we want more, but it's like they do not care. They're about one thing, and it's about getting dubs, and you got to respect that.
There was definitely a tone to that answer too. I can't capture that in a story,
Yes.
but it was more than just, nobody's talking about Blabs in the building. It was.
Go watch the presser.
It was a
today.
dad speaking. It was like a dad speaking at that.
It was almost like, how dare you ask to borrow the car keys?
Yeah.
Did you see your report card? That's how he looked at Craig Morgan today.
Yeah, but he almost liked that he asked the question so he could give that answer. 100%. You can find it. You can find it PHNX_Cardinals. That clip is definitely up there. BA, $2. I love this idea. BA, hopefully you're doing well. My guy Brian had surgery this week. Johnny, dress up as a clown with the fraud name tag if Baron Browning has a big day on Sunday. I'm all for that.
Hey, Brian, I hope you're not doing well. How about that?
That's messed up, dude. That is so messed up.
Oh, wow.
Big Mark. He doesn't mean it, Brian.
I don't.
I need the name tag jerk after that one. Big Mac or Big Mark. Let's see. Johnny, Bo secured tickets in June, and I'm finally making the trip from Ohio to AZ for my first Cards game tomorrow. What's the chance I could see my two favorite guys? Come on. Where are we? Are we going for 4?
I love that. I'm sure there's going to be, Mark, when you're in town, we'll have a PHNX sports event, something going on somewhere. So keep us posted, and we'll keep you posted. Yeah, let's do it. Anytime anybody's in town, I try to plug all the stuff that we can go and do together. Watch parties are prime right now. We've got a couple more tailgates at Chicken and Pickle, but yeah, Mark, we'd love to see you this summer. Just keep us posted, my guy.
No tailgate this weekend at Chicken and Pickle. Just a heads up for those who wanted to come out. But Mark, we can connect. I'll be out by the stadium. I don't know if you're on Twitter. You can email me, bo@gophnx.com, and we'll find the way hook to link up. Josh,
199. JV weighs 83 pounds and drives a Prius. The Prius thing, that hurts. That's hurtful because I have a firm dedication to our friends at Sanderson Ford.
Yeah.
And I would love to weigh 83 pounds. I'm working toward that. So the Prius is like the ultimate insult to your boy in the chat too. And in the comments, it's like Prius boy. Somebody put that on my Instagram. And I'm like, listen, I grew up like cars were not a big deal in my house, so you're not offending me. I could drive a flipping, I don't know, Bug or whatever.
Yeah, some other EV. Yeah. Josh, hey. That's what they're going for. I love it though, Prius boy. Keep them coming. How about Eris? Great show as always. Come to LA, guys. I'm behind enemy lines and need backup.
Last time I was in LA. The Cardinals got destroyed, Aris, and we drove up there. But maybe
week 17, maybe could be a lot on the line for that game.
Mm-hmm.
Craig will be there.
I'll definitely be there. I like that idea. We should all go.
Tidbits 199. What are your thoughts on MHJ Sauce Gardner matchup? I think again, Marvin is able to cook any corner in the NFL just like he did to Jalen Ramsey. I'm a bigger Sauce guy when he's coached by Robert Saleh. I think he's looked average since Saleh has been fired. I think Marvin will have opportunities. And again, every time people are ready to sell stock on MHJ, Craig, I'll buy him. Give him to me. Every other game, he goes off.
Well, the Jets fan base wants to get rid of Sauce, so that lets you know how things are going there.
Perfect.
Ever since his spectacular, he was good last year. He's dropped off significantly this season. It's been a tough year for Sauce. Let's keep it going. T Cleary. Craig, smoke him if you got him, Johnny.
I don't have smokes, but I have asthma. But so yeah, maybe that'd be a good one. Chris Smith, $2. Johnny with the live chat in Yuma as his punishment. Bro's precious Yuma?
No, Johnny's not allowed in my precious Yuma. You're not allowed. They'll kick you out of town.
On my way to Disneyland and I do this. Bo's Yuma?
How dare you? Put some respect on Whitetown. CBK, $2. JV punishment. Be positive for an entire show. Impossible.
CBK, nobody is more positive than me. I've never been more positive. I've never been more humble. People come on this show and they can't believe how overly positive I am. So I don't know what you're asking for there, my friend. I've never ripped anybody. I've always been a shill boy for this organization. That's my goal. I have my nice polo on today because I'm buttoned up.
Yeah. Prius, he has it on his license plate of his Prius. Shill boy. Trace Williams, $9.99. Let's go, boys. 4 in a row. Bring it home.
Such an opportunity, isn't there? Such an opportunity in this game. Go into that bye week. Jeez. Go into that bye week 6-4, 2 weeks to prepare for Seattle. So much ahead of them, so much potential if they get this game.
Last one from Derek for Johnny. Derek Badgett. 3 sacks for Brownie, and Johnny gets a certain area of his body pierced.
There's a lot of piercing suggestions. My late grandfather, I told him, I said I would never get a tattoo. I would never get an earring. But I mean, listen, Baron Browning goes off. I will do something, embarrassing. I will embarrass myself on this show. I want to be right. That's different, Craig. That's the problem with everybody is they think I want to like root for that. There are Cardinal fans like that out there. There are NFL fans that are like, hey, I didn't like this move initially, and if it works out, I'm going to be negative to the end of the year. It's like nobody exemplifies that more than Skip Bayless. Like, I have an opinion. We have opinions on this show. And sometimes they come to a fruition where it's not handled well by the team and it falls through, or we're proven wrong and we admit that. So Baron Browning, like, I didn't love the acquisition. I thought it was kind of a nothing burger. If he comes out and performs, I'm not going to come on the show and tear the kid down. Listen, at the end of the day, you wrote about it. Go PHNX.com. It just felt like a missed opportunity to do more.
Mm-hmm. I'm just imagining your piercings.
Okay. That might be cute for
Damon. Can we just Photoshop or something?
Oh God!
Can we create that?
No, Damon. No, you'll be Wally Pipped as our producer if you do that. All right, let's get to prediction times. This show's gone completely off the rails.
Here's the best shows. Let's see the predictions for the crew. I think it was a clean sweep last week, and we were right. It's a clean sweep this week, Johnny, Craig, Damon. Johnny in a tight one, 27-26 Cardinals. I've got the Cardinals winning by a touchdown and a PAT 24-17. Craig, another tight game, 23-21. And Damon with the 2-score victory, 27-14.
Time to end the Jets season, boys. I'm ready for it. I need that. I just see it happening. I don't think that they don't belong in the same field as us.
Is that is it a close game at all, or they add on to get to 14?
It's a card score in the fourth quarter to really put it away.
Okay. But it's not like Davante Adams touchdown in the fourth quarter. And like, did you see that catch from Davante? Just kind of keep Jets fans going.
No, control without.
Okay.
I do feel like there is a real possibility, like the Bears last week, to steal the Jets' soul and to get them to quit.
Yes.
You need to jump on them, step on their throats respectfully, and get them to quit and tap out. Rodgers will go to the sideline. They'll start pointing fingers. Davante was ready to quit with the Raiders. But if you allow them to jump out to an early lead and you allow them to feel comfortable for 4 quarters, and Houston let them stay in that game, they couldn't put them away in the red zone, then you're susceptible to what I think is going to be a close game. And Aaron Rodgers has played well historically at State Farm Stadium. But I'm hopeful, Damon, that this shouldn't be close, right? Like, I know Vegas is telling you the Jets are favored. They can't stop the run. The Cardinals really have never played better up front on either side of the ball in the JG era. And then what Nick Rallis has done each of the last 2 home games, Craig, nobody scored a touchdown. So on paper, the Cardinals should control this game and inevitably win this game.
Just show up. Because the Jets are coming with urgency. There's no margin for error with this team. And a lot of times that matters in NFL matchups, especially when you're not late in the season. So that I do have concerns about this game. And it is a little bit of kumbaya now that Aaron Rodgers and Davante are reunited. I think you're underselling that, Johnny. It's all good in Jetland now.
I guess.
Aaron Rodgers and the power of friendship will them to another win.
Hopefully somebody writes that story.
Yeah. Well, everything else points the other direction, but we'll see. We got great content hitting our YouTube channel tomorrow. Don't miss out on it. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Make sure you're following the entire squad. Craig S. Morgan on Twitter, at Johnny Venerable, at Damon Dawg. Follow me at Brack and at PHNX_Cardinals on Twitter and Instagram, PHNX Sports for everything else as well. It's been a banner week of shows, gentlemen. Hopefully we're talking about a big dub, previewing a big dub on the pregame show on Sunday. 2:25 kick. Johnny, Britton, Damon will be live. What about 1:55?
Half an hour before kickoff, and we have a boosted bet that we can't wait to unveil over the weekend with our friends at Bet365. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a 2-liner parlay, and it's going to make you all very wealthy.
It's a lock. All right, barring any breaking news, and trade deadline's coming past, so not expecting anything. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and Saturday. We'll talk to you Sunday here on PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.